Hi, I'm Taylor from New Orleans, Louisiana, and I'm a student at UL Lafayette. I'm here to introduce you to your virtual reality lesson on erosion. In this lesson, you will be transported to Ile de Jean Charles, Louisiana, which is home to the Biloxi Chitimacha Choctaw tribe. Their land is sinking in part due to erosion, and they have had to begin moving off to be able to work, for their children to go to school, and to have access to medical care. As you may remember, the energy of water causes erosion, which wears away the surface of the earth. Ile de Jean Charles is a good example of how the energy of water can affect people. In 1955, Ile de Jean Charles was about 22,000 acres. Today, it is only 320 acres. This means they have lost almost 70% of their land. When you enter the virtual reality world, you will be on Ile de Jean Charles. During the visit, you will hear from 5 people aged 82 to 3 years old that will share their experiences on the island and what losing it means to them. Before each video, you will hear a short intro on the person you will hear from next. At the end of the videos, you will enter a submarine and go underwater to experience erosion as it happens. Get ready to travel on the island through teleportation to different parts of the island, where you will hear from 5 narrators about their personal experiences. Hi, I'm Taylor from New Orleans, Louisiana.
All right. So, what can you tell me about the bayou?
What about the bayou? The bayou, as far as I remember, I was very young. I was probably 5, 6 years old, maybe younger than that. I remember the little bayou. And a lot of time it was high and dry, mostly in the winter time.
The bayou was high and
And
dry?
bayou, yeah, there was not, no, only the pirogue that you push passed through there. And then after that, it got, people used to start to get some little boats and all. They used to pass on there in the bayou. Uh, and then it got bigger. But as far as I can remember, that bayou right there, that's right there. You know what Montague, Louisiana had up there? That bayou go a little above that. And then probably about a half a mile above Montague. They used to go through there. And then, as I remember, when I was a kid, my daddy, we used to go to Montague in a pirogue to get some groceries and all. That was a long time ago. I was just probably 6, 7 years old. Uh, then they had some big store over there. So you get a lot of stuff. They used to trap. And then when they sell all them furs and all, they have a little bit of money, and then they go make a grocery bill for the summertime. That's the way the people used to do over here. Work, and then get a few little money. Everything was cheap though. Sell a muscat for 25 cents, 15 cents, 10 cents a piece. But that's the way it was. As far as I know, I remember that. And then just like the shrimps and all, we used to sell that for 1 cent a pound. And then those who roughed in a barrel and a basket and all, you get that about 50 cents a basket or $1. Some people paid you. That's a long time ago though. But now you can't buy that like that.
Yeah.
Oh no.
You just heard from Wenceslus, or Wen, who is the oldest tribal member remaining on the island. He told you about how he used to get into a pirogue in front of his house and go for groceries. His family would trap and then sell the hides for money to use at the store. Everything else they would grow or make on their own. This shows that before the devastation to the marshland, there was land to trap on to make money. There is no trapping around the island now since there is no land for it and the animals have moved elsewhere. Click the play button to continue to the next video.
Bayou Ile-de-Jean Charles,
Yeah.
it used to be you could
Navigable.
Get it navigable.
Oh yes, big boats used to pass. Wencelas, he had, after he came back from the army, his father was a carpenter and a boat builder and everything, and so they built a big boat. I would say it was around maybe 12 or 14 feet wide, maybe bigger than that, and it was close to 6 feet long also, but they used to be able to pass right through here. Now everybody had a little bridge, and it was not a solid bridge like the Manor Cross built or by Wynn's house over there. It was a very simple bridge, and so the boat would have to stop and pull the board away so that the boat could pass, and you have to put it back again.
And what caused it to be much smaller now than it used to be? Because there's more water. So why
Well,
wouldn't
because they have blockages on each end. They have a valve at the end over here and one on this end that occasionally they'll open them up, but it needs to be opened up right now. It's clogging up very, very quickly. Is used as a drainage canal now rather than a bayou, because boats can't pass in it because it's blocked on each end now with the levee.
it was blocked by the ring levee that was put in?
Yes.
So do you think the ring levee was, you talked about the fact that now with the ring levee, like the ground has dried out, but now you lost the bayou.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, I wish we would have been able to keep the bayou floating and everything, but for safety and it's best, to just block it and just let it be a little drainage canal. But it's so dirty.
Bayou Ile-de-Jean Charles. Bayou Ile-de-Jean Charles.
Yeah.
It used to be
Navigable.
As you heard from Father Rock Knockan, who is a Catholic priest, the people who lived on the island had wooden planks they used to cross the bayou and that they pulled back to let fishing ships that were 12 to 20 feet long pass. Now the bayou has become a drainage ditch because the government built levees in a ring around the island to protect it. But in doing so, they blocked the fresh water that came to the island, as well as an entry and exit point for pirogues and other boats. Click the play button to continue to the next video.
Okay, so you were telling me about the bayou and what it used to look like.
What it used to look like, you didn't have all this grass. It was probably, I want to say almost twice as wide. In most places it was 6, 8 to 10 foot deep, clean. You actually had a tide. You had a high tide, low tide. You had tidal. Once it got blocked off with the levee, it just became a ditch, and there's no tidal movement. During the storms, when the waters come over the levee, being South Louisiana at the bottom's mud, it always left a layer of mud on the ground, in the yards. Well, the mud kind of just settled into here, and it's real soft mud. It's not compacted, but that's why it's only about 1 foot to 2 foot deep most of the time. It's just a ditch now.
Okay.
And but we used to swim here. Boats would pass all day long. The fishermen.
The fishermen boats.
Yeah,
the fishermen boats.
Because the bridges this bridge used to be a lot higher.
Uh-huh.
That way the boats could pass underneath
Underneath.
it. Yeah.
Okay.
So the boats would pass underneath the bridges. Everywhere they have a bridge, the bridges were built so the boats could pass underneath it. So we lived a little bit further down. Everybody had a wharf. We used to fish off the wharf right here. I remember we was telling that story. All we had to do was find us a nail, and my grandma would cut a piece of salt meat. We'd put a piece of salt meat on the nail and fish crabs.
Wow.
Fish good blue crabs because it was salt water here.
Salt water here. Okay.
So,
All right.
but yeah, it was a lot nicer. It was different.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Thank you.
No problem.
As you heard from Kyle, the grandson of Wynn, the changes on the islands have made a big difference in the way people live on the island. For him, he misses the fishing. He showed you the bayou and what it looks like now. He explained as you watched the video how the bayou has changed just in his lifetime. You saw the soft mud, or sediment, that drains in the bayou after a hurricane. As you heard from Kyle, the grandson of Wynn, the changes on the islands have made a big difference in the way people live on the island. For him, he misses the fishing. He showed you the bayou and what it looks like now. He explained as you watched the video how the bayou has changed just in his lifetime. You saw the soft mud, or sediment, that drains in the bayou after a hurricane. He also told you how he used to fish for crabs off the wharf with a nail and some salt meat. As you heard from Kyle, the grandson of Wynn, the changes on the islands have made a big difference in the way people live on the island. For him...
All right. So if you can just tell me about what the island, how has it changed?
It's changed quite a bit in my lifetime because we did have a lot more land, and there was cattle when I was growing up, and we had a lot of fruit trees and con trees, which there are no more, and lots of.
All right. So if you can just tell me about what the island, how has it changed?
It's changed quite a bit in my lifetime because we did have a lot more land, and there was cattle when I was growing up, and we had a lot of fruit trees and con trees, which there are no more, and lots of gardens. People made all their own vegetables and things like that, and they could just go out and fish for what they wanted, shrimp and crabs and oysters. They could just go out and get what they needed for the day.
And that's changed?
It's changed a lot. Yes. There are no more fruit trees, no more pecan trees, and no more people just going out and getting what they need, because you need so many licenses now for everything that you do. So you just can't go on the water and get what you need for your food.
Thank you.
You just heard from Marilyn Knockhand. She is Wynn's sister. She told you about the animals and plants that used to be on the island. She also explained how everyone had a garden and enough food to feed themselves. She also explained how the change has led to residents leaving the island because they can no longer grow or fish for what they need. Click the play button to continue to the next video.
So can you tell me where we are and why we're here?
So, we're on the island of Jean Charles, my grandparents' house, which is here behind us. This is where I was raised until I was 3. When I was 3, we had a hurricane come and flood our trailer, and it deposited mud also in our trailer, so we were cleaning it out, and as we were cleaning it, I got sick. So first time I got sick, got better, no big deal, came back, cleaned some more. Second time, it's a little worse. Third time I got put in the hospital. So the doctors asked my parents, what are y'all doing that she keeps getting sick? And he said, well, we're just cleaning our house on the island because it flooded, he said.
So can you tell me where we are and why we're here?
So, we're on the island of Jean Charles, my grandparents' house, which is here behind us. This is where I was raised until I was 3. When I was 3, we had a hurricane come and flood our trailer, and it deposited mud also in our trailer, so we were cleaning it out, and as we were cleaning it, I got sick. So first time I got sick, got better, no big deal, came back, cleaned some more. Second time, it's a little worse. Third time I got put in the hospital. So the doctors asked my parents, what are y'all doing that she keeps getting sick? And he said, well, we're just cleaning our house on the island because it flooded. He said, no. He said she cannot be put back in that house. The mold content is too high. Even if you clean it, you'll never get it all out enough for her to move back in. So they made the difficult decision to move. I say difficult because it was difficult for them to leave, for my dad to leave the place where he was born and raised his whole life. But it wasn't difficult because they knew it was for a reason.
How old is your son?
He's actually going to be 3 next month.
And so you were about this age
I was
when...
about this age when we moved. So it's difficult. Tradition was every Sunday we were here, regardless of what happened. We were here every Sunday. We'd come eat. We'd meet my grandma and them after church. They would cook. We'd stay here the afternoon. You'd go home, and that was your Sunday. You knew you were on the island. We'd play. We'd help them out with the chickens. There used to be a chicken coop back there where that rusty shed is. Was not a patch shed. When the house was in the ground, there was another big shed here where my mom had her washer and dryer. So we would always play in there with her, with the clothesline and the chicken coop. We'd go help her play with the chickens and pick up the yard eggs and things. So it was adventurous. It was just a place you can come and it's like no other. I mean, when you drive onto the island, it's like you're driving into somewhere totally different. The world stops, everything, you don't know that there's wars, and you don't know that there's so much social unrest around us when you're here, because it's its own sphere. But sadly, that sphere is changing, and it's being
But you
threatened.
still bring your son.
I do, because I want him and his brother and sister to know what the island is, and to be able to pass on that little bit to their kids whenever they get older.
Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
As you heard from Chantel, the sister of Kyle and the granddaughter of Wynn, the island was a place for adventure, and when you enter it, the rush of the world and your worries stop. She explained why her family had to move off of the island. Click the play button to continue.
So, what do you like about living on the island?
We can play football.
Or not living on it? You don't live here, do you?
No.
No. Okay. So, what do you do when you come here?
I go visit my and Papa, and me and Jake play football.
Uh-huh. And how does it make you feel when you come on to the... So, what do you like about living on the island?
We can play football.
Or not living on it? You don't live here, do you?
No.
No. Okay. So, what do you do when you come here?
I go visit my mom and papa, and me and Jake play football.
Uh-huh. And how does it make you feel when you come on to the island?
Good.
Why?
Because we get to play football.
Okay. Well, you can't play football at home? Is there not as much space, or? Oh, okay. You have more space here to play football, so you like it.
Yeah.
All right. And then don't you have some other cousins that come and play with you here? Yeah. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Isaiah, Chantel's son, and his younger brother Jake, Chantel's children, love to run around the island and play football, though the island is much smaller than it was when his mother lived on it. They still have more room to play here than where they live in town. Click here to go to the submersible simulation. Here we are at the beach's shore, shrunk down to the size of a single drop of water. As the water hits the soil, sand, and shore, tiny bits of dirt are dislodged and taken away with the water. If this process goes on for too long, little by little the shore will be eroded away, exposing plant roots to the water. As you can see, erosion causes small bits of dirt and plants to be taken off piece by piece. This is what has happened over the last 100 years to the island of Ile de Jean Charles. As you can see on the screen in the submarine, the land around the island has disappeared and the island itself is shrinking. The erosion on Ile de Jean Charles is happening due to many factors. Some of these are the digging of gas and oil canals near the island, which creates a path for salt water to come in, and then the salt water kills the vegetation that is protecting them. Sea level rise has also created erosion with the wave action that causes parts of the island to be taken with the waves. Hurricanes have also caused damage to the island, and since the Mississippi is no longer adding land into the area, there is no way for the land to repair and restore itself. The stories that you have heard from the people in the video explain what that means for those who live on the island. Wynn told you about how he used to hunt for muskrat, and now you can see there is no land for them to live on, so they can no longer hunt them. Father Rock told you about how big the bayou that ran in front of the houses was. Kyle showed you exactly what the bayou looks like now, and how this has changed since he was a boy less than 20 years ago. Maryline remembered the lush land with cattle and pecan trees that you can see decreasing in the images on the screen. With the decrease of the land around the island, the salt water has come closer, which killed the trees and stopped the supply of fresh water for the cattle. Chantel told you about how she went to the ER 3 times when her family was trying to clean up after a hurricane, and how the doctor told her family that they could not move back with her because of the mold. Then Isaiah told you what a wonderful place the island still is to remind us that there are still people living there, and we should not give up on trying to save what remains of Ile de Jean. Click the restart button to restart the program, or the exit button to exit.